Thank you. And again, my name is Brian Tuttle, and I've been working in healthcare compliance for around 15 to 17 years. And there's been an enormous uptick just recently here since 2013 as it relates to HIPAA. Just a little bit more background. I've done risk analysis for over 500 business associates as well as covered entities throughout the United States, making sure that they've got their proverbial I's dotted and T's crossed as it relates to a federal HIPAA audit. This law is changed now. It's not like it used to be. It's been around since 2003 for all intents and purposes, but it was not being implemented really in the past. The government didn't have the funding to implement it. Well, now they do, and I'm getting calls every day from medical practices, from businesses that work with medical practices who are required to comply by this law as well, about they're being audited or they're being sued by individuals. That's a new change as well. Individuals can sue, and I've been working on a lot of court cases as an expert witness, both for plaintiff and defendants, as well with HIPAA cases being filed under state law, which I'll talk a little bit about here. I know this is a beginner level course, so I won't get into too many major details other than what this law is so you guys have a clear understanding. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and begin. Ashish, I don't seem to have control here. I can't advance the slides.
Give me a second.
Sure. Okay, here we go. Now we've got it. All right, so a little bit of background. The HIPAA police are coming. This is no longer what it used to be. In 2009, there was something called the HITECH Act that came out, which was part of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, also known as the Obama stimulus. There were mandates in that act that had asked the Health and Human Services to start conducting periodic spot audits. Well, these things have gotten not periodic, these are proactive audits going on by the federal government. The group that enforces HIPAA is the Health and Human Services, but it uses the wing of the Health and Human Services of the Office of Civil Rights. You may wonder, why does the Office of Civil Rights enforce HIPAA, or at least HIPAA privacy security? Because the security of your private health information is a civil right. Therefore, the burden is on the doctor's office or the hospital or whoever is dealing with this information to ensure that it is secured. If it is not secured, and if it's found that there was willful neglect and not putting in reasonable and appropriate steps to secure this information, then you can be fined by the federal government. The business can, so can the individual employees can as well, and sued by the patient, which we'll talk about why this law is pretty scary now. Health and Human Services recently started awarding contracts. One of the big ones was the consulting firm KPMG, but they're also awarding contracts to a lot of smaller groups all the way down to individuals such as myself to proactively go out and audit. The reason the government outsources it is so they can expand their scope on how many groups they can go after and audit. The federal government is broke. The fines levied could be and have been so far a mountain of revenue for them. For HIPAA, every dollar spent on the audit process, the feds have been bringing in 20 in revenue. That's insane. That's an enormous amount of money. Will the government decide to get ultra aggressive? Yes, they are getting ultra aggressive, and the proof is clear. I get calls every single day from medical practices as well as business associates. That a business associate is a group that's doing business with a medical practice that must also comply with all the HIPAA laws. But they're calling every day wondering, what do we do? What do we do? We just got a letter from the Office of Civil Rights, and they're getting audited. And the main thing you need to do is be proactive in your compliance. And I'll talk about that going forward, but the old saying, an ounce of prevention is certainly worth a pound of cure. So basically, statistically, what's occurring, it is the small providers that have had many more issues than the larger